Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is May 17th, and right now we are looking at the visible satellite imagery, and you can see we've got a lot going on here. We've got the stratus layer all the way up against the coastline here. It should be burning back on the day today, but take a look across some of Canada and now seeping down into Washington, Idaho, and Montana. You can see this smoke from all these fires just kind of burning out of control, especially across Alberta, and yeah, big swath of smoke here. So if you see that coming across the sky today, you know where it's coming from. Those fires up in Canada, pretty intense out there. We may have a chance for some thunderstorm activity again today. The models are a little bit of disagreement, maybe not as strong as what was going on yesterday, as there's some pretty good thunderstorm activity moving across some of the east slopes and the Cascades yesterday, and some eastern Washington, Oregon, up through BC as well. Now, taking a look at SeaTac yesterday, 78 degrees, 11 degrees above average here, nowhere near that high temperature of 84 there. So we ended our run there at 4 straight days of record high heat. This is looking at National Weather Service Spokane, talking about the chance of thunderstorms, about 20% chance out there. Some burn scar flooding, gusty winds, small hail are the main threats there. This is the temperatures turning hotter. Check it out as you go through Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Then the potential for a bit of a cool down here as we start to get a trough, but maybe impacting the region here coming up. We'll take a look at that in the 500 millibar view in a moment. This is day one thunderstorm outlook. Does include the Cascades and portions east. This is day two. They keep including some of western Washington here and maybe some of the foothills of western Oregon, but some of the models are kind of showing this activity that does fire over the Cascades during the day, pushing off to the east. This is looking at 500 millibars. Here's the GFS last night's run, 06Z. The ridge still in control here across the region, keeps us warm. And then we start to bring this trough in here as we go through the day Sunday. It looks like this trough wants to set up over the Pacific Northwest here and maybe hang around for a bit or drop down over California here. So yeah, we're going to change things up a little bit. We're going to get rid of that heat dome here that we've had the last few days or so and bring some troughing back to the west and kind of a mixed bag. We'll continue to watch this as we go. We're looking pretty far out at this point, but this trough is gaining some confidence here as we move towards the weekend coming up here, but it would just be kind of a cool down. This is looking at the European 500 millibar heights here, and you can see the ridge that's been dominating our weather here for the last several days, and we go into motion here, and then as we go on into Friday, Saturday morning shown here we're on into Saturday and Sunday morning, and you can see this trough kind of swinging through here. It looks a little bit weaker here on the European right, but then it kind of hangs out for a bit and kind of spins right down the Pacific Northwest and moves across some of the mountainous west here. So anyway, we'll continue to watch this as we go. In fact, let me take a look at this really quick here because I want to look at 24-hour precipitation total here, and let's see how much precip this is bringing. So if we back up all the way back to this weekend here, and now this trough is going to make its way towards us, and you can see it doesn't bring much in the way of precipitation here. Maybe some light precip for western Washington, southwest BC here, not showing much for Oregon, but you can see it kind of track through British Columbia, the higher terrain, probably some thunderstorms associated with this as well. Now taking a look here, this is the NAM 3KM. This is for today. This simulated infrared satellite imagery, another cool graphic, or one of the imageries you can get on the weather bell here. And if you put that into motion, going into the afternoon today, see some of this buildup occurring across the Cascades here. Again, not quite as robust as yesterday, but there's a potential across northeast Washington, some of the Pendleton, Blue Mountain areas out here as well. And then we go into overnight hours. We're going to do that again Thursday. Look at some of these thunderstorms pop up. But you notice the movement here is kind of developing over the Cascades and pushing off to the east. And again, kind of the same thing for Friday coming up here over the Oregon Cascades. It's starting to push off to the east there as well. This is looking at the NAM 3KM. This is surface-based Cape, so I want to show you the instability as we go through the day today. Fairly unstable along the Cascade crest here for that thunderstorm development, and you can see we're going to kind of do that again Thursday. And then we're going to do that one more day again there Friday. But again, mainly Cascades east with this thunderstorm threat coming up the next 3 days. This is looking at the European as well, kind of showing a similar thing here as we go through the day today. Some activity across the Cascades, eastern Washington, Oregon, British Columbia. Go through the day Thursday again. It shows some of that activity also up into BC here. So yeah, you can't rule out a thunderstorm or two if you're Cascades east through the next 3 days, definitely. And something interesting as we go on into Saturday here, it does show some of this activity kind of out into western Washington a little bit here. We'll watch that as we go coming up. but it doesn't look like anything too crazy right now. It might just kind of be a little bit of an anomaly there in the model run. This is looking at the herd. Doesn't call for much in the way of thunderstorms here across a lot of the Cascades. Maybe a couple popping up this afternoon. Main activity northeast Washington, Idaho Panhandle, but definitely not quite as much as yesterday. A little bit more for Thursday here, and you kind of notice that movement off to the west. This is looking at actual 24-hour 2-meter temperature highs, and as you can see, we go through the day, Thursday here, and you can see Friday, Saturday, pretty nice warm days here across a lot of the Pacific Northwest coming up here. And then we might start to get that cool down coming up here. And we can see that represented a little bit here as we go on in through Sunday. Check it out. SeaTac might be back down towards the 70-degree mark instead of the 80-degree mark as we've been expecting, what we've been getting and what we're going to expect here for the next few days. As you can see, we're looking at mid-upper 70s, potentially 80-degree days all the way through Saturday before we start to cool down here Sunday and Monday with the arrival of that trough. Here we go, 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Look at this, May 26th, near normal here across Pacific Northwest. You see that bulge of heat here across some of the Great Plains here, including Wyoming, Montana, and the Dakotas. And this is 8 to 14 day temperature. Still keeps us kind of in that above average signal here as we go through the end of the month here. And then, yeah, so this forest fire smoke is going to be interesting because you know how this goes. This is kind of an early start, which is not something we want to see here as we've been dealing with forest fire smoke off and on. It seems like a lot more over the past decades than last decade than we have previous decades here. I've lived here a long time and I never remember getting forest fire smoke every other year or every single year here. And this is kind of an interesting thing. Starting off this early in the season is not a good sign. A lot of thunderstorms have been going on too. So hopefully we're not developing new fire starts across the Pacific Northwest here as we speak also, because you don't want any part of this forest fire smoke for the majority of the year. You guys know the issues that causes with respiratory illnesses and whatnot. So hopefully we can put these fires out and go through kind of a more normal summer here, but we'll see how this trends. But anyway, if you see this forest fire smoke in the atmosphere, you know where that's coming from, and hopefully it's not too bad and it just stays aloft versus being surface-based smoke. But anyway, yep, I'm probably going out storm chasing today, and I will be back either on Friday or Saturday. I'll try to do a briefing as I go out on the road. And again, I'm still trying to get my live streaming stuff worked out better. I may just have to get a secondary phone so I can have data and be able to live stream at the same time. Still trying to work out those details, but I may try to live stream as I go storm chasing here as well. I'll likely be by myself out there for this round. So anyway, let's talk again tomorrow or the next day, and I'll let you guys know what's going on, and hopefully you guys get out a chance and enjoy that nice weather, and I'll talk to you guys later.